Hello and welcome to another episode of the Rebecca Saunders Show. I have been itching to say this all day. Today's guest is Erika from America, and I'm doing this podcast from the States. So I'm super excited that you're here. Talk about timing.
Erika from America. Yes.
That's all. When I listen to your podcast, that's the bit that I'm like, Erika from America. Like, I love it. Now you're going to tell me you've changed the intro and I'm still listening to the old ones.
Oh, no. I have to keep that. It doesn't work in America. People aren't impressed. They're like, who cares? I'm also from America. But in Australia, it's really good.
It so works. And when I booked this podcast with you, I wasn't going to be in America. So it makes it all the more fun for me.
Oh, my God. It was meant to be this date, girl.
It definitely was. It definitely was. So, Erika, I've brought you on because I want to talk all things confidence, and you're the queen of it, right? I have so many questions for you. Where did your journeys come from? Like, I don't want to go right back into like the depths of you and the history of life, because that's in your book and it's beautiful. But to have the power and the energy to just jump in and go, fuck it, I'm all in, let's go. Like that stepping stone is where I actually want to sit and play with you today.
Yes. Okay. So it's so funny because people, when they're like, you're the queen of confidence. And I'm like, I'm not her. Like, I almost feel like imposter. I'm not her, because she's my alter shego. So she's like who I want to be. She's who I believe all women are. She's like this pink caped superhero with a big C for confidence on her chest of like, let's go do this. Let's show up. Let's speak up. Let's be who the fuck we want to be in the world. And so I aspire to be her. And the more that I have stood in that title, the more I'm like, oh, I am her. Like, I am standing in this, and you're her, and she's her, but she forgot she's her. And let me go remind that woman that she's a queen and she's amazing. So it's a weird name. It started off as the Queen of Curves because I was a stylist.
Yeah.
I was a stylist. And so I started as a hairdresser doing confidence in the hair world, like helping women with the visual confidence when I was super young. I don't know, my 20s. Yeah. And then I stepped into, when I came to Australia, I started doing styling. So someone was like, oh my God, you look amazing. Are you a stylist? And I was in this business program with no business, because I love me a cult. I love community. Like, I'm in this program and no business, but I was like, this is so fun. And this woman was like, are you a stylist? And I'm like, yes, I am. That's going to be my business. I'm going to dress people. And I was like, I'm just going to do that, because I wasn't doing hair anymore. So I started like fashion styling and still helping women with confidence, but external confidence, the way they dress, all that jazz. And as you do in business, you find the biggest problem. And I was really seeing that women size 16 plus couldn't find clothing, couldn't find representation. And I was a size 10, no kids at the time. And I started styling women, and I was like, oh, I want to be the queen of curves and help women who were curvy. And what happened is I had a real slim friend come up to me and say, hey, I really want to come to your events, but they're only for curvy women, right? I can't come. And I'm like, oh, it was like my drop penny moment of like, oh no, like, this is not about excluding women. Like, I want all women to feel like they can come. And then I was like, I don't want to do styling anymore anyway. I want to shift the whole business. And what do women really want? They want confidence. And so the name was born at that moment, but I hadn't stepped into her yet. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was like, ooh, I'm scared to be her. Like, I don't want to be her. I don't want to be a leader, even though we are called to be leaders in our spaces.
Were you doing that sort of like slightly sick feeling in your mouth when you said what you did?
Yeah, I was a little bit like, oh, my name's Erika. I'm not the Queen of Confidence. No, that's my company name. That's the brand. Because people were like, the Queen. And I'm like, American, right? I don't associate with, you're from over there. Those are your peeps, the Queen and the waving and I was like, I don't have tiaras. I don't like tiaras. I don't like any of that shit. Hello, my logo is a crown, everyone. Just
I was just about to say that.
Like, is that a tiara? It's a street graffiti crown, but it is a crown. So it's really funny, just the idea of not wanting to step into your greatness and not wanting to own your full greatness, because who are you to do that? So I still had that experience. And it was after I had my son at home, where I had a home birth. It was amazing. And I was in the shower, as we get all the shower wisdom. And I just heard.
Just on that note, Erika, have you got the shower notes? Like the actual paper that you can write on in the shower?
Don't even play. Is there an actual thing? Because I'm going to.
There's an actual thing. Like, genuinely, I will share the link in the show notes, because someone shared this with me and it was changed my world.
Okay. I didn't know there was a real shower notes. I'm going to have 10-hour showers. Are you serious? That is a game changer.
Yeah, totally. Totally. I will send you the link.
I don't know if I can continue. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're going to Amazon right now. Okay, good. Please send me the link, because that, that happens to us. No one's in there. We're by ourselves. We're calm. We're relaxed. All the ideas come. And I just heard this voice be like, what does the Queen of Confidence do? She doesn't do styling. She doesn't talk about bananas and pears and horizontal stripes. She talks about confidence. And I ran out of the shower, like on the carpet, thankfully, wet. And I'm like, husband, I need to do my confidence coaching. And I had been on a journey of self-development for 8 years by that time. Mm-hmm. And so that moment really in, what was it? It was probably November, December 2017 was when I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm not going back to work. And that was when it was born. That was when I went, I'm going to be a coach. I'm going to do this. I'm going to support women and start in February 2018. And that's where it all happened.
Oh, that's amazing. Because it's one of those things that when you get the feeling, it just, you can step into it, and I can feel the energy there where you're like, and it just happened. That was the thing. Yeah. But it was a 10-year overnight success, right? Although,
exactly. Yeah. It was knocking, and I kept being like, no, right now, that's not secure. That's dangerous. And so it wasn't like that was the moment, but it was like, I'm fed up with my own bullshit. And the shower wisdom said, so go and do this.
Let's do it. And so you've stepped into it. You've stepped into the Queen of Confidence. Is it like putting on a mask in the morning when you get up in the morning and go, okay, like, let's just put on the clothes and like whack on the hat or the fancy shoes and then I'm in? Like, are you putting on that mask, or have you actually channeled it? No.
Yeah, not anymore. Now it's like, I can feel that I am being my alter ego, like Sasha Fierce and Beyonce. Like, I believe Beyonce is really Sasha Fierce. Then she puts on Beyonce to be palpable and tame and not too crazy. And so I feel like I am now the Queen of Confidence. And when I can feel when I'm being the smaller version of who do I think I am, or the inner critic, like that feels weird and gross to me now. Cause I just wake up and I'm like, I know who I am. I know what I'm here to do. I embody this work. Let's go. And then there are moments where I get my inner critic that tries to come in and like possess me. And I'm like, oh, I'm not you anymore. Like, I'm not letting you do that. And I think a lot of women walk around with the inner critic taking over and the playing small taking over, and they haven't really stepped into the alter ego, and they haven't allowed the alter ego out. And when they do, they tear her down. Like, oh, you're wearing red lipstick. Who do you think you are? Or you look stupid, or that kind of stuff breaks that relationship with that alter ego self. And then she doesn't trust you, and then she doesn't come out. So I've had to really build this 10-year relationship with that alter ego version. So now she's kind of like invoked in me. I know that sounds weird, but yes.
I love that. And I love it. And when there's little like niggly voices come up in your head, like what are the tactics that you have that you go, do you sit there and you listen and go, okay, I listened, I'm ignoring? Like, what's your process of like getting rid of those negative voices?
Yeah. They're there. And I think I used to want to ignore them. However, I've found in this work that I do as a coach is really giving them a space to speak, because they have something valuable to say. And if we ignore them and shove them down, we're kind of doing what happened in our childhood. We weren't able to express ourselves. We weren't able to talk about our fears. We weren't able to cry publicly. We had to hide and push that down. And so I really would recommend getting a notebook, a piece of paper. I tell all my clients to journal, and it's not like, dear diary today, like that's not what I mean. I mean, just letting your mind rip on paper, and it looks crazy and it doesn't make sense, but you allow what's present to have a voice instead of pretending that it doesn't, because it does. And then you act like you push it down, but really it's subconsciously taking over your life. And that's the fear that stops you from asking for a pay rise, putting your prices up, showing up on Instagram. That's what takes over. So if you don't express it and deal with it and reveal it and give it some space to really see what it needs, because it needs something, it's scared. Okay, speak about it. So I now would recommend really journaling and getting out that part of you, because it's a part of you. It's not who you are. But if you deny that part, it almost becomes like destructive and takes over your life.
Yeah. I've only just learnt the art of journaling. I don't know. I've bought so many journals over the years, Erika, where I've just gone, I don't know what to write in this. Is it supposed to look pretty? Is it supposed to not look pretty? Like, I need a plan. Like, I need to follow the plan to make it work. And it doesn't work like that, right?
Yeah. No, you just like, literally, it's like, you just blah, 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 blah. I don't know what I'm writing. This is so stupid. I don't know. I'm a little bit hungry. And then it's like, I'm so angry. My mom called me and she blah, blah, blah. And then you just like, you kind of get into this flow. It's like a conversation with yourself on paper instead of in your own head, because in your head, you intellectualize what's going on and you think, you know, and you're like, oh yeah, that's okay. That's sorted. And then you're like still thinking about it, or still not going to the party because you're scared you don't look good. Or, you know, I love the paper because you disassociate the thing you're thinking from yourself. So you're not your thought. You're not your stress. You're not your anxiety. You're not your condition. You're not your labels. You get to see it on paper and go, that's what I'm thinking, but I'm not that. That's what I'm feeling, but doesn't mean that's true. And I can really, that's kind of the awareness part, the step one of how to start being kind to yourself, how to start creating confidence, how to start living the life you want is you got to realize what you're thinking is not you and it's not true. And so getting it down on paper, it kind of shows the evidence of like, oh my gosh, no wonder I'm anxious. Look at all this stuff
you're carrying around.
That's in my head. Like take your brain and just put it on paper. You'll be like, whoa, no wonder I'm anxious. Okay, cool. I'll be a little kinder to myself, you know?
Totally get that. And you don't know this about my hair-free journey, but I was just starting it when you and I met back at Movers and Breakers in 2019. And I was just on the verge of, I know like it needs to happen. People have been saying to me for a very long time, when you do it and you lean into it, like your business is going to go gangbusters. Like you're just going to have the best life ever. Just do it. And I'm like, no. And there were two people that had a huge impact on me. You were one of them when I met you, because you were so just, this is who I am. We're all good. Like everything's fine. Like, and I remember that dress up party at the end of the thing. And I'm not sure there's photos of that on the internet, by the way, anyone who's listening and watching this, but you know, but I just remember going like, fuck yeah. Like, why don't I just try it? And that was teamed up with a conversation I had with Shelley Horton, who was talking about the fact that I could just rock it and do it. And so the day after that conference, after the conversation with her and watching you, I did it and I just went, okay. And I went on a wine tour by myself without hair. And I was just like, okay, let's see what happens. Nothing bad happened. Like it wasn't scary bad. But you know, I looked at it and went, okay, like that's great. And the relief of just, I can do it. And then it just spread and it spread. And, you know, I'm now doing what I'm doing and being who I am. But I was ready to take that step. Like I was ready on that little piece, ready to lean into that confidence and just go, yeah, fuck it. This is me. Like you either like it or you don't. Like I'm sick of hiding. Yeah. When people are watching you and me, when we're doing what we're doing, and they're not yet at that, they haven't done the work yet. They haven't got to that point where they're like, okay, let's jump. Like where can they start with getting to that point? You know, you've got to be on the ledge, I suppose, to jump without that being too morbid.
Yeah. You're 100% right. I think the sad thing is, and I talk about this a lot, is that we either need a near-death experience or some crazy ass traumatic drama for your mama thing to happen for us to go, oh my God. Like a lot of people needed that pandemic to go, oh, I don't want to live here. I don't want to you anymore. You know, like, oh, no more kids for me. I'm done. Like 2 is enough. Like some of us needed the pandemic, which is horrible and traumatic, to realize, oh my gosh, life is short and precious and I should go for what I want. I needed to break my back in a terrible car accident, lose my husband and date a couple narcissists and move across the world and have no friends and no family to go, oh shit, I better do what I want, better wake up to my life. That's so dramatic, right? But I, supposedly the queen of confidence, air quotes, I needed that. So who am I to judge? Like sometimes you're not ready. And unfortunately, you need to either experience that ledge or the rock bottom of the ledge, or hear a podcast like this, or follow someone like yourself, Rebecca, and go, you know what? She just gave me confidence. I'm doing it. So it depends on who we are. Some people need to watch something and go, I'm in, let's go. Other people need to get slapped in the face 50 times by life, you know, slammed down, elbowed in the head, run over like me. And then, okay, are you ready? Okay, I'm ready. All right, fine. You know, so I guess you'll know where you are when you're there, when you're really fed up with your own bullshit and you're like, I'm done. That place is such a really great place to be. It feels terrible, but that's where you want to be. With that, I'm done and let's go, you know?
And then we'll flip it, right?
Yeah.
You and I have both jumped into that. We've gone, we're going to go with it. Let's lean into it. And our businesses have just gone, woof, like life has just gone, woof. Like, do you ever, like, how are you going through that roller coaster of, shit, is this my life now? Like, oh, wow. Like, am I really doing this? Like, you know, that flip side of that, yes, we've got to that point, is completely different, but exactly the same, right?
Yeah. It's like, when you think about what you want and then you have it and you created it, which is, I just am amazed at us as humans, especially as women, like that whether you have a womb and make a baby, or you have a womb and you build a book, or you build a business, we're still creating from that space as women. And we are creators. We are the creators of the planet, right? It's such it can also be scary. Like, oh my gosh, I have everything I want. Oh my gosh, everything that I said I wanted. It's that Marianne Williamson quote, right? I feel, Rebecca, when I meet women and they're like, I'm just not good enough, I don't feel worthy, I'm like, bullshit. Like, I don't believe when women say that. I don't. You know why? Who brushed your teeth? Who washed your ass? Who put lipstick on your face? The part of you that feels worthy. The part of you that believes you're a good person and you deserve to look nice today, and you deserve to go to work, and you deserve to get dressed. Like, that is worthiness. I mean, what else is there? So I believe that we are worthy, and we're scared of that. We're scared that everything we want, we can have. We're scared that we are successful, right? Like, so it's pretty wild, because when you're faced with the things you want, like I'm about to get the keys to a building, I bought my house, I'm like, oh my God, I'm making 6 figures a month. Like, what? I remember wanting to make 6 figures a year, and to make that a month, I'm like, this doesn't make sense. It's like wild. And now I'm like, how do I make $1 million a month? You know, not satisfied, right? Like, now I want the next thing. It's like, oh my God, celebrate yourself, honey. Like, stop and smell the coffee, you know, like take it in before we move to the next goal. So I think that's what happens to us, the high achieving A-type, like, let's go. We are not satisfied and we want to keep going, and we haven't sat in, look what we've created. You're in freaking New York City.
I know, right? Like, it's insane. I look at it and go, wow. I have literally got a note in my diary each month to go, just stop, reflect, appreciate where you're at. Like, this is cool, right? You know, like, life is cool. Like, last week I was on a beach in Hawaii in a private home, like, never in my wildest dreams, you know? So I have a ritual that I have to celebrate and hit my milestones. When you're doing that and yourself, and you're like, oh, got to that next level, what do you do to celebrate the next sort of breakthrough or the next goal smash?
I need to work on this, because my husband and I, like, there's been so much at once, and I know you get this. And if anybody is listening that runs a business or has a family or, you know, has a big community, you'll get this. You do so much in one day. Like, I swear to God, I love my single friends, but they're like, oh, I'm so tired. And I'm like, what did you do? They're like, they don't have a business. And I'm like, what did you do? Like, oh, I just did this thing. And I'm like, girl, you got like 23 more hours of the day. Like, what? And I literally, if somebody could sit next to me and watch my day, 72 massive things get done. And then I'm like, next day, you know? So we really suck at celebrating. And I'll look at my husband and be like, oh my God, we just bought a house. But at the same time as the best thing in the world is happening, some horrible shit is also happening. Like, my son's really sick, or someone's vomiting, or we just got an email that someone wants to leave a program. Or so I think it's interesting when you do achieve so much. It's not like everything's, you know, rainbows and lollipops and it's all great. It's in the mix up of normal, everyday, boring, you know, monotone stuff, and then a few horrible things. So I think we don't fall in love with any of it. We don't fall in love with, we're awesome, everybody loves us, and we're killing it. You know, as I hate when people say that to me, I'm like, shut up. Do you see what happened? Like, you don't understand. Killing myself here. You know,
I'm killing it on my stories, but behind the scenes, like, that's just 2 minutes of my day.
Like, I'm like, you're my friend. How do you think that Instagram's real, woman? Just give me a call and I'll tell you all about the crazy shit going on in my house right now. You know, like, I think we don't fall in love. We don't believe that we're the best and everything's amazing always, but we also don't believe that the freaking horrible thing that's going on for us is forever. So I don't know, we ride the waves, and I try to like buy champagne and be like, cheers. But literally it's 2 seconds of, my husband's like, I don't like champagne. And then I'm like, oh, I bought this bottle. That was weird. And then my kid's like, Mommy,
okay, next time call me. I'll be around. I'll come.
Seriously, I'm like, Rebecca, can we do a Zoom cheers, please? Because like, that's what I think is a celebration, but it's not. It's like, what really are we looking for when we celebrate? Like, so we do quarterly meetings with our team and my husband and my family, because we're married, we work together, we live together, everything's together. So we try to do quarterly meetings, and we just get everyone in the team to just be like, what was the best thing for you? What do you want to celebrate? How can we acknowledge you? And then we do that to ourselves. And I feel like that's pretty special, because we look at everything we did, what worked, what didn't. And that's kind of a time where we get to go, oh my gosh. And we witness each other. Cause I think it's hard to celebrate by yourself with champagne. Like, okay, no one's witnessing you. So yeah, it's still something we're working on.
Yeah. See, I have the champagne thing. For me, I buy a case at the beginning of the year and I put Post-it notes on them. I have them in boxes in my fridge, and they take up a whole row in the bottom of the fridge. And they've got the Post-its of the big crazy goals that I want to hit that year. So when that, I'm reminded every time I open the fridge. And when that goal comes, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna hit that one.
Big. That's cool. It's not even about the champagne. It's about like the intention of you writing the Post-it notes, I just recorded a podcast called How to Think Big. And it was all about like, we can't even think big, never mind act big. Like, you are thinking big. You're putting your champagne in the bottle, you have to do a podcast on this unless you already have, because that's amazing. I want to listen to that. Putting it in there, like the audacity for you to say that, for you to buy it, for you to put it in the fridge. So every day you open it and you look at that, like it's more than a bottle of champagne that you're opening. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. That's
next level. Ooh. Yeah. I remember when first, starting a new relationship with my now husband. And I remember people going to the fridge being like, what's that?
What is that?
Just my goals for the year. They're like, what? I'm sure the housekeeper in this hotel thinks exactly the same, because I printed my vision board. It's laminated. Nice. There's Post-it notes on the mirror.
Like affirmations and lipstick. I am a bad bitch. Yes. Okay. I love that. But see, that's intentional. Like, you're not doing this by mistake. You're not there by mistake. I'm not here by mistake. We want to be here. We're doing things to get us here. And then when you're there, it's almost like, oh, this is what I wanted. Oh, so then it feels like anti-climax, because you're like, oh, but I am her. I am her. Of course I did that. Hell yeah. High five. Next book.
Yeah. It's the anti-climax of, I remember when I hit my first 7 figures and I was like, is that what it feels like? Like, doesn't feel any different.
Yeah. Oh, my 0. Okay. Well, am I different now? No, I'm the same person, but it's good. I think that's good, because then it also shows you that when you have a shit launch, when no one joins your program, when a team member leaves, when bad things happen, which they do, it doesn't mean anything either. It's like, I don't know. Gary Vee talks about it a lot. Like, I don't fall in love with the process. I don't fall in love with my followers. I don't fall in love with people hating on me. Like, none of that is real. What's real is me and how I feel and who I show up as. Everything else is going to chop and change. And if I allow my external environment to affect me, then what's going on inside, So yeah.
I think, we have touched right now. I could go so deep on this, but I feel we've gone so deep already. We've both done a lot of work. We've both hit some massive goals. You're shining brightly, and I know both of us right now are in launch week for very different things. But if you're just starting out on the confidence journey, which I know listeners for you definitely are, and people that listen to my podcast are like, I need that. Where can they start? I know you have a heap of stuff that I can send them your way, but where are we going?
Yes. Okay. So one of the big things I think that first of all, is that we think we can't have confidence, or we think it's only for some people or some women, not for us. No, well, Rebecca can do that, but I could never do that. You could do it, because at one point Rebecca thought she could neither, and she did. So I love the proof. I love the examples. And so I think if you're just starting out in your confidence journey and you're like, how the hell do I build confidence? I'm in a rut right now, or I feel like crap right now, or I have no confidence right now. I have these 5 steps to creating confidence. And it's just like step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. And no matter where you are in your practice, in your journey of confidence, because I believe confidence is a practice, you can literally go to this piece of paper, read it out, and go, what's my next move? And the important thing is continue to move. Like, if you stop moving, if you stop showing up, if you stop trying and you just lay on the floor, that's a crowbar in your practice of confidence. That's a crowbar in your goal setting and in your creation. So this 5 C's, 5 steps of confidence is very easy. It'll be in the show notes. You can download it, you can print it or not, and you can write it up, and it'll just give you your next step and a continuous movement on how you can actually practice to become a confident person.
Yeah, I love that. And as I said, it's a repetitive thing that you just need to keep back and keep going and keep repeating and keep going. Yeah.
We get better and better, right? Like I suck at yoga, and then I'm like, I'm good at yoga. And then I'm like, meditation is the worst, but it's not, you don't get to meditated. There's no meditated, right? Like you meditate and then somebody cuts you off. You're like, mother, I was just meditating. Go back to my Zen. Like life happens. Life is going to come at you. So it's about practicing and falling down and getting back up. And you'll care less about the fall and you'll worry less about what if I fall. You'll be like, I'm going to fall. And when I do, this is my plan so I can get my ass back up faster and continue to move, you know, in the direction I want to go in. So that is one. And obviously the book. So I do an audio book and I have a physical book, Confidence Feels Like Shit. The truth about confidence and what it really takes to create it, because it's hard as hell and it feels terrible. And that's confidence.
And it's a very good book, you know.
Yeah, thank you. You know, and that's really it. And it's just really the Instagram. I'm on Instagram a lot, and I try to do a lot of content around, you know, like sharing that I also don't know what I'm doing, like you know, living really vulnerably and like we don't know, we're making this shit up as we go, literally. Okay, like just go out there and have the courage and the self-belief. So it's really about building your belief, not knowing exactly how to do it, because you didn't know how to launch a podcast, neither did I. But we believed we could figure it out. And we did Google and YouTube and call people and message and get team members. And, you know, now it's a living, breathing thing where you're supporting so many people all over the world, Rebecca, while you're in New York. Like, hello. Like,
hello.
We figured it out because we thought we could. So I think that's the big thing. And the big message here is, with confidence, it is scary. Yep. You don't know what you're doing. Yes, you're doubting yourself. But the point is, continue to go, continue to move, because everybody's in the same journey. The question is, are you willing to move through the discomfort that is creating confidence, or are you going to fall down and stay down? Because then it's like, there's nothing going to be done, nothing going to be created in that space.
Yeah. So listening in, you need to get back up, get that checklist, get it happening. And start writing those Post-it notes, put them around you, surround yourself with the vibe.
Campaign Post-it notes. That's your next book, girl. And that's like,
there'll be a podcast coming soon on that for sure.
So I think everybody's going to be like, can you please tell me about that process? Because that just sounds amazing and delicious at the end as well. So,
for sure. Well, when you've got that Post-it note on the bottle of champagne for when you crack that open, we'll crack a bottle at the launch party of your new venue. How about that?
Yes, new venue. It's going in a nice. I'll have to ask you for your champagne recommendations.
I can do that. I'm a Verve girl. I love the story of Verve as a whole brand, but that'll be on the podcast. I'll go through why it's the champagne, what the purpose of it is. Well, I've picked that one. Erika, thank you so much for coming on the podcast today. As always, I love talking with you, and just the vibe, and you filled my cup heaps, and I'm sure you have for my listeners and the viewers today. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for doing this show. Thank you for being brave and showing yourself. And thank you for sharing that with me, because I had no idea, and that makes me so happy. I can't wait to see you soon, my love.
I'll see you soon.